tried to make a home out of you. But doors, they led to trap doors, a stairway that led me to nothing. Where do you go when you go quiet? You remind me of my father, a magician, able to exist in two places at once. And in the tradition of men in my blood, you would come home and lash out at me. Why do you need to hurt me? The past and our future merge to meet us here. What luck. What a fucking curse.
Hi Kouklas, it's Christina with Koukla Cosmetics, and today I will be showing you guys this beautiful natural makeup look. This is inspired from Beyonce's visual album Lemonade, which gave me life. I thought it was so amazing. Everything about the visual album was genius. I mean, everything about it. I'm just completely, utterly obsessed. The looks, the hair, the styling, the songs, the dialogues, everything was just so out of control, and I felt so inspired that I have to just do a little mini series of inspired tutorials myself. The first one is from this first song, Pray You Catch Me, and the whole theme behind it is intuition. It's very beautiful. I did mine look up a little bit more than she did. Hers was very, very, very natural. Hers was like a no makeup look. But I always got to add a little bit of that Koukla touch. So I have a little bit more than she does, but this is a natural inspired look from the Pray You Catch Me video. If you're interested in finding out how to achieve this look, please continue to watch and stay tuned for the rest of the videos that will be coming up inspired from the Lemonade album. Thank you, Beyonce. You give me life. I hope everybody has a blessed day. Feel like ya. Alright, so the first step to any makeup application is to always start out with nice, clean, fresh skin. And then you always want to use some kind of a moisturizer. Today I'm going to be using my Sigma Beard Oil. I love using this oil because it is incredibly hydrating for my skin. And the essential oil blend in there is antimicrobial, so it helps throughout my day to prevent any kind of breakouts. It has tea tree, eucalyptus, wintergreen. It's just a really concentrated mix of amazing essential oils, and I find it really beneficial for my skin. So I like leaving that in for about a minute or so, and you want to let your skin absorb the oil or your moisturizer, whatever you choose. And then I always prep my skin. Prepping your skin with a primer is going to allow your makeup application to wear a lot longer for you. It will help diminish the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, your pores. It will create a barrier between your skin and whatever cosmetic products you are applying, and it will just allow for the wear to last a lot longer for you. It'll also help with oil control. So I'm just putting some in my cap and kind of swirling it around, and then I just go all around my skin and I blend and buff it in. And then I want to give it a minute. I usually allow everything to just kind of sit, absorb, and then begin. So after I'm moisturized and primed, my next step, especially for this, since this is such a natural look, I'm going to be spot concealing wherever I need it. The biggest area for me is under eyes, so I'm going to go ahead and apply my concealer under the eye. Now, the biggest secret for me that I like sharing is that your dark circle, the root of your dark circle, is where it is the darkest is the inner corner of your eye. And if you notice on yourself, if that's a problem area for you, take a look at your dark eye, your under eye area, and see where the darkest area of your under eye is. And most of the time it's in between, in the corners of your eyes. That's where the root is. And I always apply the concealer inside the corners there and then all underneath the eye. And I'm going in and I'm just gonna buff that into place and blend that in. I'm going in on the other side and doing the same. So when I apply concealer to a specific area, because I have a problematic area, the technique in which I blend in the product is I usually do like a tapping motion or like a stipple motion, because wherever you apply the product, that's where you want it to stay. You don't really want to move it around because you want that concentrated cover in that specific area. So taking whatever brush or sponge and tapping it and stippling it into place will give you the best amount of coverage, because you are simply melting the product into that designated area wherever you've applied it, wherever you need it, and it stays put. So that is where you have all of that opaque coverage. Next, for concealer, I'm going to go in with the same brush and I'm going to apply concealer where I need it the most. So if you have any blemishes around the nose, hormonally women, we tend to get red around the lips, around the nose, our nostrils, eyebrow area, anywhere where you have like any kind of imperfection or perfect imperfections, you can go ahead and give it a little extra love. Next step is foundation. So I usually apply my foundation directly to my face, and then I blend it out with my brush. So using the brush, I take the foundation and I stipple it all over my skin, like that. And I'm sure everybody has heard of baking, and realistically, you can't bake on everybody, but what you can do, and my favorite technique, I call it cooking. And what that is, I do it specifically with liquids and creams. So what you do is you apply the liquid or cream all over the face, and then you kind of just give it a second, and you allow your body temperature to kind of heat up that liquid or cream, and that little bit of warmth that it will give the product will allow it to blend and melt into the skin a lot easier. So it's not baking, it's cooking, because you want to warm it up. And again, you're doing that with liquids or creams. So your brushes are equally as important. Let me guys know in the comments below if you guys would like a tutorial specifically on brushes and some techniques. So I am just stippling all over my skin and buffing it out towards the outside of my face, going to the ear, whatever's left over on the brush. Get your ear, get your jawline, and just drag it down a little bit. Doing this so I don't have that foundation mask. You want that color to drag down and blend seamlessly, and then up towards the hairline, just blend that in nice and well. So now that our skin is prepped, we're going to move on to our highlight and contour. I want this to look relatively natural, so I want my skin to be more glowing than anything else. So right now I'm just taking a cream highlighter and I am just applying it in with my fingers, because I want the heat of my fingertips to allow that to melt into my skin. And I'm putting it in a C shape. So the highest part of my cheekbone going up around the brow, framing the eye and that cheekbone, because we want that to pop. And I don't know if you can see, but just that little amount of cream highlighter that I put frames that area of the face. And I'm gonna go ahead again, same exact thing on the other side. And I'm just tapping. When you're working with a cream product on top of something that you've powdered, you never want to drag the product. You always want to pat it into the skin, because you don't want it to disrupt whatever kind of product and layering you have underneath. And a cream or liquid on top of a powder, if it isn't applied correctly, will drag and it will be a mess. So when you do layer on your product, you totally can. Just make sure that you are using the correct technique, which would be a patting motion. So there is that. And with any liquid or cream product, I'm going to set that with a powdered highlight. Taking my fan brush, and I am going to go directly on top of that cream highlight. Oh, I love that. I live for highlighted skin. I'm obsessed with glowing skin. So just super lightly, right on top of the cream powder that we applied. I'm taking my highlighter and I'm also just dragging it down my nose a little bit, center of the forehead, Cupid's bow, and collarbone situation. Next, I'm going in with my Chocolata bronzer to add some dimension and to chisel my features. So I'm using a fluffy kabuki fan brush. I love this bronzer because it has a beautiful matte brown color. Like that. Other side. I like the tip of my nose, bridge of the nose. When doing a natural look, you just want to look sun-kissed. You're not necessarily trying to heavily contour. So I like applying bronzer where the sun would naturally hit me, and that are the highest parts of the face naturally. So it would be the cheek, the forehead, your chin, the nose, and then you just want to keep going over everything and blending it out. You can never blend too much. When in doubt, blend a little more, because you never want to have harsh lines. So just going all around and blending my product in evenly and everywhere, of products that are multifunctional that you can use for, you know, several different areas of the face. So I'm going in with a fluffy brush, and I am just going to take this bronzer and put it from the lash line all the way up to my crease and blend it out with a windshield wiper motion. So I just put that on. And then I'm going back and forth. Let it sit for a second, let it cook, and then go back in with the same brush without adding any product and blend it out. So we're going to go from our lash line and start blending it up towards the brow. You want that color to diffuse. Back and forth, windshield wiper motion, and working that product up towards the brow. This is a nice flat brush. I'm going to take, again, some of my Chocolata bronzer, and I will be lining my lower lash line, just for some dimension. Then with that same flat brush, I'm going to go in with my highlighter and do my inner tear duct for a little bit of pop there. And then I'm going to very lightly hit under my brow. If this is just an everyday look, you can finish after the mascara. But if you want to be a little extra glam and fabulous, then you can finish this look off with a gorgeous pair of falsies. Lastly, to finish up the look, I'm just quickly going in and filling in any bald spots in my brows. The lips I'm going to keep within the same color palette. So I have mixed 2 lipsticks, a pinky and then a more brown color to kind of tie in with the highlight and the bronze color. So here's the finished look. I am obsessed with the highlight and the glow. The contour really is the star of this look. It created a beautiful warmth and amazing dimension to my skin. I absolutely love the color of the bronzer. That matte brown is everything to me because it's a buildable color. So it can be very translucent and light and glowy, but then you can also hardcore bronze yourself and contour yourself with it as well. And it builds wonderfully. It also has that built-in primer, so again, it's going to help my makeup stay in place, especially now in the summer months when everything is just so humid and nasty. And I love, love, love products that can be transitional, that you can use eyes, lips, cheeks, whatnot, because then it makes life a little easier. And I just love that I can get away with this color on my eyes as well. So I think that it looks great for this inspirational video. I was totally in love and in awe of Beyonce's Lemonade visual album. I thought that it was beyond creatively genius, and I just love Beyonce.